there's been a lot of discussion over expanding it already past 12 teams, and we're going to talk about the validity of that here at the end of the show. But one thing that stuck out to me as a possible solution if they stay at 12 teams was an idea that came from Tony Petitti, Big Ten's commissioner, throwing out the idea of more automatic qualifiers, that 5 automatic qualifiers isn't enough, especially considering that the Big Ten and the SEC, the two super conferences, will now have a combined 34 teams. Really feels like the rich trying to get richer here by expanding auto bids past winning a conference championship.
Yeah, Tony, no one asked you to expand to 18 teams. Like, no one in the college football world wanted that. And you just decided to do it anyways. And you maybe killed college football in a third of the country in doing so. So forgive me for not automatically lining up to give you more auto bids when you made this problem for yourself. I have an idea, Mitch. Maybe we should split the Big Ten into two regional focused conferences. We could call one the Big Ten and maybe one like there's a lot out in the Pacific. So maybe we could call it like the Pacific 10 and they could play for an auto bid and the Big Ten can play for an auto bid. And then we're all happy, right?
We could be, if 10's too many, I think the Pac 8 might work as
That
well.
might work. You
You
can throw
know,
Oregon State and Washington State in there. I don't think they have a home right now.
They don't. They don't. They're messing around with the Mountain West kind of like a cousin schedule right now. Like, yeah, we're related, sort of, kind of, not really. No, I agree. I think I don't get it. I don't. And a quote that stuck out to me from Petiti, he seemed like he was preemptively trying to cut the naysayers off, going, This isn't about financials. This is about access. This is about access, not
Sure.
financials." Tony, access equals financials when it comes to revenue in the college football playoff universe, my guy. Like, we're not that stupid. We can put two and two together and see when you're trying to make it five. So yeah, to me, it's an answer to a question that nobody was asking. Like you said, the Big Ten, really was the aggressor here when they went and helped blow up the Pac-12. So I am absolutely against giving out any sort of automatic qualifiers. I also don't get the logic that Tony tried to give us, that more automatic qualifiers means that end of year games matter all the much more. If a team is, the big game comes down to automatic qualifiers, I there's a good chance that there's an automatic qualifier coming out of there anyway on most years, because one of those teams has a really good chance to go win the Big Ten championship game. The other, though, they may not be playing for an automatic qualifier if they lose, but boy, they've got to kind of look over their shoulder if they're inside the top 12, realizing they might just drop out.
Yeah, and it still just doesn't make sense from a conference that will get multiple teams in every single year. I don't think the Big Ten needs to be concerned about the number of teams they're going to get in. And the SEC is the same way. They're going to lead the way every single year, and they are not going to have to worry about having multiple teams in. They're going to have at least two, probably three or four each every single year. And why do we need to put that in writing? Why do we have to protect? What if you have another year like 2012? That's going to be one of the most interesting ones I break down in a second, where your top teams are ineligible for the playoff and it would have been an 8-4 auto bid from the Big Ten. Like, no, I don't need that. Like, yeah, that's just so current mindset. And I get that the Big Ten and the SEC are setting themselves up for future dominance. I get that. But college football is so fickle and can change on a dime of who is just, especially in an NIL area where
Yeah.
whoever wants to pony up can be really good, really fast, or at least have the talent and resources to do it. It's just it would be so short sighted to guarantee two or three conferences multiple auto bids when in 2 or 3 years they could not be the top dogs. I know that's not doesn't sound likely right now, but when we get into this research in a second, you'll see that it can happen and it can happen really quickly.
I think Louisville is a great example of that, right? They really, really struggled the past several years, made a coaching change, their NIL program gets rolling, and suddenly they're competing for an ACC championship game. They're in the running, outside shot for a playoff berth until late in the season.
Clemson wouldn't have made the even the 12 team playoff until they made their first 14 playoff in 2015. And
Yep.
we saw the run of dominance that they had for 5 or 6 years, and now we're questioning, are they going to continue to dominate, right?
Right. We absolutely are.
Gracious hip.